You can't be high value if you still do this. We live in a world obsessed with being high value, status, wealth, strength, attention. Everyone wants to be admired, but very few want to become admirable, because that takes something far more rare than beauty or brilliance. It takes mastery over yourself, and no man can call himself high value. If he still does this, he lets his emotions lead. Let's speak without flattery. You can wear confidence like a mask. You can lift weights, build a business, make money. But if your emotions still command your actions, you are not strong. You are not disciplined. You are not free. You're just reactive. Someone looks at you wrong, you snap. Someone disrespects you, you spiral. Someone ignores you, you seek validation. You think you're making decisions, but really you're being pulled by anger, by fear, by pride, by lust. You're a man led by chains you refuse to see. And that is exactly where the destruction begins, not from the outside, but from within. Epictetus, once a slave and later a philosopher of kings, said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." So ask yourself, who's your master right now? The driver who cut you off? The woman who rejected you? The friend who betrayed you? If your mood, your actions, your energy depend on them, then you're not high value. You're vulnerable. You're unfinished. But there is another path, and it's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's violent, but only on the inside. We take back the throne by refusing to be moved by what does not deserve our energy. Not through suppression, but through transcendence. When insulted, we stay silent, not because we are weak, but because we no longer need to prove anything. When tempted, we walk away, not because we don't feel desire, but because we know its price. When attacked, we remain composed, not because we don't burn inside, but because we've learned to use fire as fuel, not as a weapon. This is how we rise. This is how we become untouchable. Seneca wrote, "He who conquers himself is mightier than he who conquers an army." You want to be high value? Then conquer you. Conquer the voice that tells you to lash out, the craving that tells you to chase what degrades you, the fear that tells you to shrink, to please, to prove. Your greatest enemy is not out there. It lives inside the skin you carry. And until you've stood in front of it and refused to kneel, you are not high value. You are still becoming. But the moment you stop being ruled by emotional impulse, the moment you can delay reaction and respond with reason, the moment you stop needing the world to validate you, that's when it changes. You don't need to say you're high value. You don't need to prove anything. You are the proof. In your calm, in your stillness, in your discipline that does not break, no matter how loud the world gets. We don't chase high-value status. We become it. In silence, in hardship, in self-mastery, one decision at a time. You can't be high value if you still seek revenge. The average man confuses revenge with strength. He thinks retaliation makes him powerful. He thinks getting even means he's won, but he's wrong. He's just another prisoner of impulse, controlled by the very people he claims to rise above. Because true power doesn't respond. It endures. It watches. It waits. It understands that nothing weakens a man faster than the obsession to hurt back. We've seen it. The man who cannot move on is still owned, still chained to the one who wronged him, still building his identity on someone else's betrayal. But we no longer need revenge. We've learned what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." We do not become petty just because others are. We do not descend just because we've been dragged. We rise anyway, without shouting, without proving, without striking back. Why? because we are no longer controlled, not by hate, not by pride, not by the past. We've traded revenge for clarity, bitterness for composure, and in doing so, we've become untouchable. Revenge is for the man who is still at war with himself, but us, we've already won the war by refusing to fight battles beneath us. If you felt this in your bones, you're already on the path. Subscribe and keep walking with us. No noise, no masks, just the war within and the man we're becoming. Until next time, endure everything, expect nothing, control yourself.